We're back with another episode of Mining Now. I'm your host, Jared Downey, and today on the show, the supply chain in North America is obviously a big topic, and the electric vehicle and battery supply chain is probably ahead of that or a very close second. It's on a lot of people's mind. A lot of people are trying to cover it. And so we are going to get in a company that is hoping to extract those requirements. Frontier Lithium, Trevor Walker, the CEO, is joining us. Welcome, Trevor. Great to have you on the show.
Real pleasure. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to our chat here today.
Yeah. So let's just start. If we could, before we get into a little bit more about Frontier Lithium, can you just tell us just sort of a bit of industry scope and perspective? You sent over some information. I kind of wanted to break it down, just that whole North American supply chain and demand that you're hoping to fill.
Yeah, so it's a huge opportunity in front of us. We're really at a converging point here in time with regards to Paris Accord ambitions globally to reduce CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions. We see the emergence of tech and the huge strides that we've made in the tech space over the last 20 years, bringing energy storage into mobility. Tesla has been a leader in the space here over the last 10 years of electric vehicle production and sales globally. So we're really upon also geopolitical risks on supply chains globally. We really are excited as a result of this backdrop. We've got a massive opportunity here in North America with this transition towards electric vehicles. So we're really fortunate here in Canada in particular to be endowed with strong minerals required for this transition. And Frontier Lithium is located in the Great Lakes region of North America, with really one of the highest grade and one of the largest lithium resources in the continent. So there's a looming supply shortage for lithium. Lithium is this pixie dust that's required for the technology. So we think we're positioned really well and really excited about the opportunity in front of us.
Well, when you see, I want to bring up this chart here because Honda, $1.4 billion in upgrading their manufacturing plant for hybrid EVs. GM Canada, $5 billion investment to upgrade there. I think that's it's a little small CAMI plant for the EV manufacturing. I mean, with these types of shifts happening, there must just be a ton of interest and a lot of people reaching out, just even initiating contact with you, trying to understand what stages you're at, what you're hoping to accomplish, because the demand is just, it's going into billions and billions of dollars are being put into the production of a product that you're going to need.
Yeah, so gigafactories are in the pipeline to be built for building just that, the batteries required for transportation for vehicles. So I think in the pipeline to 2030, there's over 500 gigawatt hour capacity planned. And that really is in the auto alley of North America, starting in the southern US, coming in through the Carolinas, and right up into Ontario. So Ontario in particular, over the last 18 months, there's been roughly $15 billion announced of investment. And that's obviously around CAM, or cathode active material production, required, essential for the batteries themselves, and into transitioning auto manufacturing towards electric vehicle production. So really, North America is coming later to the party. Obviously, this is all driven primarily out of East Asia, Europe has been quite busy over the last couple of years, but uh, last but definitely not least is, really the greatest economy in the world here on the continent. So absolutely, we're positioned well. We are going through a process really of conversations, everything from incumbent lithium suppliers in the markets that have been around for decades, through to the cell manufacturers and downstream auto manufacturers. So it's really important that we direct a tier one resource in North America with the right partners, the right output for really the right strategy and the right plan. With the looming supply shortage, there's going to be winners and losers. This is really the first inning of many
Yeah,
in the transition to electric vehicles. So, we take a cautious but confident approach on moving the company forward from asset through to strategy and delivering the chemicals that we plan to before this decade is out. So uh, as a result of these types of activities, you're spot on. The retail market and has been really active. We can say that the real money, the real institutional money in the West hasn't even entered the space yet. So
hmm,
this is early, but through our conversations, it's clear to us that the big institutional players are really trying to wrap their head around the space, the market, the opportunity, and how to enter it
right.
safely for their clients and their shareholders. So exciting times ahead for sure. It's early days.
Well, for you, there must be, I mean, where you're located and being Ontario and the US Canadian market, there must be a lot of interest because when you're looking, I mean, all of us are seeing what's happening around the world and in places like Eastern Europe and Ukraine. And it just there must be um have you noticed even within the last, let's say, 6 months, a heightened interest in companies like Frontier Lithium because you are very no, because we'll break down some of the other values too, but just specifically where you're located. Sorry, I can't talk this morning.
Yeah, no, great observation. Again, you're spot on. Jurisdictions around the world are competing right now for really vying to build entire value chains, from
Mm,
from from farm to table, as many would say. In this case, excuse me, the opportunity that North America has, and both all levels of government, from municipal, provincially, federally, and as well with the United States, have actively been putting policy in place to support companies such as Frontier Lithium, because there is a window of opportunity to build the entire value chain. And again, our advice has always been clear to governments. We need policy, we need education, and we need to move with action. So for the first time, in my lifetime, starting to see words and policy from
yeah,
government on essentially picking horses. Where is the most bang for our buck in North America? Where do the public dollars need to be focused on to support? Governments realize that they need to get involved. There's been some market failures and a lack of investment upstream. All of the activity is being on gigafactories, active materials. So essentially, this rollout is being built backwards from what we're traditionally used to, with a lot of attention starting on mine site or the resources. So we're getting tremendous support from government to fill in, this market failure. But it's clear to us, if you look at our share price, for example, over the last 12 months, it's appreciated over 400%. So the market is catching on to which horses governments are picking, which assets are really critical to contribute or build the foundation of the entire value chain. The future, given some of the risks that you've outlined, it's really about resource extraction, processing, refining, and use in close proximity. And that is the advantage that we have here in North America. And in our case, we talk and think a lot about the Great Lakes region of North America.
Let's talk about the deposit itself. Can you sort of walk us through the details of where you're at with that and what you're seeing?
So the project's located 180 kilometers or so as the crow flies north of Red Lake, Ontario, just east of the Manitoba border. This is a new area for lithium. The mineral that hosts our lithium on our project, called the PAK Lithium Project, is called spodumene, and spodumene is the preferred mineral for lithium, as it hosts the highest lithium grades out of any mineral on the planet. On our project, we have had 4 discoveries to date, 2 of which are deposits outcropped at surface. They make up a roughly 42 million tons in total of roughly 1.5% lithium oxide grade. So that resource, in fact, is the highest grade lithium resource in North America. And the 2 deposits are what we call open in all directions. So the ability to continue to grow the resource is very high. We've assembled 27,000 hectares over roughly 65-kilometer strike length. We're really excited this year to be investing roughly $10 million onto the project.
Oh, wow.
Pure exploration activities. So that includes, for the first time, walking the land or taking that greenfields perspective. To date, we've really been focused on the discoveries that are outcrop. Those 2 deposits, I'd like to add, are located only 2.3 kilometers away from each other. So it's really, really exciting. It's going to be a very, very active year. Tremendous upside. Our spodumene is the lowest iron spodumene in North America, and iron is a key proxy for impurities. So this is the cleanest lithium resource. And really, when you think about industrial minerals and chemicals business, or lithium salts that are required for batteries, quality pays, and quality is a key metric, as well as size and grade, that are required, again, as what we call anchor resource for North America. So this is a really important resource for this value chain that we plan on contributing to.
When is the drilling program beginning?
We actually very soon will be firing up the drills. We had an active winter this past winter. We actually have just brought a second diamond drill to site as well. So to date, we've drilled only 15,000 meters have been drilled within the 2 deposits. We'll be drilling at least that this year in 2022. So very shortly, those drills will be fired up again for the remainder of the year.
Do you get the sense, you kind of touched on earlier, and I wanted to circle back, you said every level's of government. Do you get the sense now that finally there is that support, that governments, it's kind of, we're eliminating which party supports what industry and all that stuff? Do you find that, especially in your stream, that's now getting eliminated, and it's a matter of how they're going to do it, not if?
Spot on. When you think about lithium, it's really a party agnostic. There isn't a political party that hasn't realized. I heard a metric last week from the Ontario Mining Association on polling across the country for support for mining. And, I forget the particulars, but the comment back was, in the last 100 years, or as long as polling has been conducted, so safe to say the last 20 30 years, that the support for mining across the country is at the highest level ever.
Yeah.
So that loose metric is not going unnoticed. And again, party agnostic.
Yeah.
When you think about lithium, huge opportunity, as currently there's no lithium production in North America. So we're not talking about commodities that have supply chains that have been built and over 100 years ago. This is a great opportunity with the transition to get it right. To we have a public that realizes that the metals are essential for the technology that is relied upon, whether it's the lithium in the smartphone glass on your phone. Many don't know it, but there's more lithium in the glass on the phone than there is also in the battery.
I didn't know that.
So these are this technology is essential to every North American, everyone globally, their lives and their livelihoods. So this connection is being well understood by the mass of the requirement for mining with regards to technology, and ultimately pursuing a greener planet that everyone is aligned on. So that's really exciting for us. That all of these things again are converging at the right time for us, with the highest quality, highest grade lithium resource again in the greatest market in the world. So really excited.
It is exciting, and I'm glad you're on the show. We've covered so many different elements of mining, and we need to start doing more episodes like this, talking about companies that are taking that initiative and getting these projects underway, because it needs to happen. And it doesn't come without risk. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing now, or run into over the last several years?
There's a false start in the lithium market. Many refer to it as a false start in 2018, and the equities got a little hot. And over the last 10 years, that was the biggest event. There's been lots of volatility, and that's obviously always something difficult to overcome. we this vehicle, we reference Frontier Lithium as a vehicle by design. We recognize that I joined the company late 2009. We transitioned very quickly to rare metals and got really busy on our project 2012. So there's really three key pillars for us. And that was, once we recognized the potential of a great resource, we tried to time our critical mass of the resource in step with where we find ourselves in the market today. So we've taken a cautious but confident approach on moving forward. As a result of that, it's really imperative that we've kept our skin in the game. So management has 25% of the registry. So over those years of volatility, we've seen companies, strategic investors globally try and come in and recognize the strong potential and realize where we're at today, and really try to get control of a strategic resource like what we have here with Frontier Lithium. And we've always said no. So we've done our best to make sure we keep North American control over now a strategic North American resource. So we took our time. We've tried to time it well. As well, we're starting to see, and this ties into your last question, on the federal budget in Canada that's put out recently, there's a commitment for roughly $1.5 billion towards infrastructure, in particular, specific wording around priority deposits. So this ties into now governments realizing how important it is to maintain control over critical resources and also support those resources, and many of which are now into the far north region of Canada. So, again, this is converging with the opportunity to increase Indigenous First Nations employment around critical resources in the far north. This is important to make sure that we maintain good, tight control. So these are the types of things that we thought of years ago and survive the volatility just by not getting ahead of ourselves, not cut corners, because this is the mining business and chemical business. There's a lot of risk. Back to your point, so we think we've done a great job on navigating that to date, and we'll continue to make sure that we think about all project stakeholders here with such a critical resource in uh, in Canada.
You've used the term "we" in the last, in the last few sentences. Let's, to wrap up this interview, can we discuss a little bit about building that team? Just sort of the not just developing it, but also the order of the stages you get to when you're building that team and when you bring certain people in.
We found a great asset with a really small team. And since then, and again, touching upon trying to get the timing right, we've managed to leverage a great resource on backfilling the resource and assembling really a senior mining company board. So we have managed to attract some heavy hitters. For example, Mark Boisonneau on the board of directors, who is former head of global nickel assets for Glencore, and retired roughly 2 years ago. So, that's one example of many. We've also managed to and honored to have former chief from Sandy Lake First Nation, the largest of four communities that we have agreements with surrounding the project, onto our board of directors. So also important to have at the highest level of decision making in the company regional representation from northern communities. So we really are have great guidance and leadership from greenfields exploration right through to mine finance, construction, and operations on world-class assets right here in Canada. So thrilled to be in this position where we can attract the best of the best. Really strong on, again, exploration right through to processing, also refining of metals. Where we were lacking is on lithium specific experience in the West. So we are also blessed to be able to attract some lithium specific experience, in particular on my team with VP of technology, with former major lithium experience out of China. Dr. Nigel Cao has resided in Montreal for the last 20 years. So we have managed to lever into Chinese experience. It's really important to not reinvent the wheel. We believe in innovation, but in continuous improvement.
Yeah.
So let's learn from where over 80% of the world's chemicals come out of East Asia, learn from that experience, make some adjustments to enhance it for North America. So we've been really busy over the last 12 months on piloting both mineral processing and currently working on piloting for lithium chemicals from representative samples from our project. So really active. This is all driving towards delivery of pre-feasibility before this year is out, and based on success, moving to definitive fees as quickly as possible. So really exciting year here for Frontier Lithium with great team. We'll continue to add the right people as we evolve and move forward towards delivering what North America so desperately needs to become a player in the electric vehicle industry.
Needs, and now is finally starting to want. So that's a great sign.
Yeah, great observation.
Trevor, thank you for. I know you have to run today, so thank you for sitting down and hopefully next time, as 'cause I know you've got a lot more steps that you've touched on. So hopefully you come back within a year or so, and we can talk again, sort of see progress, look at the industry again, because this is like you said, this is the first of many innings. So it's a story that we hope we get to keep walking through with you.
Yeah, for sure. Look forward to the next chat. In the meantime, we'll get lots done, so we'll have lots to talk about.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, Trevor and his team for helping us put this interview together. And please follow Frontier Lithium. We will put links to plenty of information about them, so you can do your own research and understand more about the company. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We are doing a lot of episodes on mining, and it's not by accident. There's a lot of people that want to know more about what's going on in the mining industry, and the mining industry has really taken a big step in really pushing out to try to share with the public what's going on and what needs to happen. So I just want to thank everybody, and we will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.